Good day, everyone. My name is Aisha Amani from the Faculty of Bioresources and Food Industry, University of Tanzania and Aberdeen. I'm here to present a paper on gender inequality in inland fisheries communities of Thomas Dam, Dambata, Nigeria. These are the content of my presentation. Globally, women constitute an estimated 47% of the fisheries workforce. This is in both harvest and post-harvest. And unfortunately, these women are limitedly engaged in management and decision making. This is according to FAO in 2013, Harper et al. And others. In Africa, more than one-fourth of the people working in the fisheries and aquaculture sector are women, being processors 69.2% and fishers only 6.7%. This is according to De Girard and Garibaldi in 2014. Globally, discourse on inequalities between males and females has attracted concerns over a considerable period of time. The issue of gender inequality has of recent come to the fore in the struggle for men's empowerment and emancipation in Nigeria. This is according to Adamu and Madeli in 1994. Fisheries sector is often considered a male domain because of the high levels of investment and the adoption of new technology associated with its development, and this has been a major contributory factor to inequalities. This is according to Rechinja and Girendo in 2011. According to Murray and Kisson 1998 and Lopez Ledrix 2017, research and development programs generally regard fishers as men and remain oblivious to women's direct participation and contribution to the industry. Moreover, customary beliefs, norms, and laws or unfavorable regulatory structures of the state reduce women's access to fisheries resources, assets, and decision making. This is according to Williams in 2008, Wedochingate et al. 2010. Women faces various forms of gender inequalities in areas such as access rights to land, ponds and other fishery assets, education and training, access to independent credit and bargaining power in trade associations and the workplace. This is according to Ismail et al. And others. Various guidelines were recommended to address gender inequality in fisheries sector, such as FAO 2017, UN 2015, USAID 2012, CFS, and EAFM. EAFM is simply the ecosystem applied to fisheries management. It has three pillars, which are the good governance, ecological well-being, human well-being, all for the betterment of the future generations. The pressing issues have been divided into according to the three pillars of EAFM, which are the good governance, human well-being, and ecological well-being. On human well-being, women faces the problem of exclusion from policy and decision making. On human well-being, women faces food insecurity, that is both macro and micronutrient deficiencies, especially in women of reproductive age. They are also faced with lack of access to resources, which includes land, loan, etc. And on ecological well-being, they are faced with low catch. This happens as a result of the rise or lowering in temperature. They are also faced with flood and drought. And they are also faced with migration. This is according to USAID. The research questions are: what is the impact of gender inequality to good governance in fisheries management? What is the impact of gender inequality to human well-being in fisheries management? And what is the impact of gender inequality to ecological well-being in fisheries management? The objectives of this study are to determine the impact of gender equality to good governance in fisheries management, to determine the impact of gender equality in human well-being in fisheries management, and to determine the impact of gender equality to ecological well-being in fisheries management. Fish production is customarily considered as masculine venture. Women's role in fish-related activities is though supportive and is imperative and indispensable. This according to Cliff et al. In 2011. According to Ibrahim et al. 2011, Paris and Chi in 2005, the roles of women in fisheries sector is repeatedly being ignored and relegated, consequent of primordial system of social setting that is prevalent in rural areas of many developing countries like Nigeria. The non-recognition of women's contribution in the production process is enhanced by uneven allocation of resources. Therefore, lack of access and control over productive process, one of the major factors limiting women participation in economic activities. The role of women is generally being marginalized in implementation of policies, and this increases their vulnerability. This is according to Tamale 2004, Acheria 2003, and others. Women faces specific gender barriers in accessing financial services, which includes lack of collateral. This is according to the Global in 1995. Due to restricted movement, women are deprived of input like fingerlings and feed, especially in situations being subsidized. This leaves the women at the mercy of men in supplying it for them. This according to Ayambo in 2014. Not only are there gender differentiated impacts of climate changes in fisheries with men and women facing different risks and vulnerabilities, they also contribute differently to climate change and have different ways of coping with it, adapting to it, and mitigating its impacts. There is enough evidence to suggest that women have a higher exposure to climate risks compared to men because women have fewer endowments, have fewer entitlements, and have less access to services and are less mobile. This according to Indulufa 2014. There are currently quality sex aggregated data regarding fisheries and aquaculture value chains, in particular related to the distribution of benefits in the chain. This according to Froggy et al. 2018. This is a qualitative research. Qualitative data was collected, the data was analyzed, and then the results and findings are shown. This is the study area, Thomas Dam. It's located in Namarke village of Dambata local government area of Kano State. A purposive sampling method was employed to choose participants for this study. Focus group discussion and semi-structured interview were the research instruments used. Questions were asked on ecological well-being, good governance, and human well-being because they are the three pillars of EAFM. On ecological issues, questions were asked on how these ecological issues affects the gender, then the roles of each gender in managing these ecological issues, and the impact it has on each gender. On good governance, questions were asked on decision making regarding sales of properties, household fishery activities, and the starting of a new business. Also, questions were asked on conflict resolution mechanism, if they have any, and then is there equality or inequality in this conflict resolution. On human well-being, questions were asked of the sources of income of both the male and women and roles they play, and then financial services, who have access, is it the men or women, and on economic decision, who takes the decision, is it the men or women. Atlas ti was used to analyze the data. This is the conceptual framework, results and findings. This study was carried out with mainly fishers, traders, and processors living and or working in the fishing communities of Thomas Dam Dambata. Women and men were purposely selected based on their involvement in the fisheries sector, e.g. as fishers, fish processors, or as traders. The focus group discussion involved 120 participants from Wailare, 40 from Namarke, and 40 from Satame fishing communities of Thomas Dam Dambata. When questions were asked regarding access and control of the fishing resources, most of the answers given were that the fishing equipments were owned and controlled mainly by the men. And then when they were asked questions regarding ecological challenges, most of the answers given were that challenges faced by fishermen include seasonal issues as well as government restrictions, and they have an effect either directly or indirectly on both gender. On management and decision making, when questions were asked, the answers given were most of the decisions are taken by men without considering the women. And then when asked the roles of women in the fishery sector, the most of the answers given were that women do not fish, they only support the men in doing the activities, either by maybe making the fishing gears or maybe helping them in processing the fish. Then some answers were given that some of the women supports the men financially. In conclusion, all study areas, women's participation in fisheries sector is similar and is characterized by domestic responsibilities. In all the fishing communities, women are poorly represented, are seldom included in decision-making process with regards to fishery and resource management. The study proves that women in the inland fisheries sector of Thomas Dambata lack access to physical capital, resource, and decision-making and leadership position to training and formal education. Thank you.